Time NBA season record for wins. In San Antonio, VP Bob Bass has taken over the coaching duties in hopes of turning the Spurs into title contenders come playoff time. In their last encounter 11 days ago, the Bulls and Spurs brawled, clawed, and battled to the bitter end, only to see the champs and the great one prevail. The rematch is next on TNT.
Forward Derek Coleman is leading his team out of the wilderness and into the playoff hunt. Against Phoenix, he got help from point guard Mookie Blaylock, who brought the Nets from behind as they stole one from the Suns.
Say goodnight. 4 in a row for the Nets.
Friday night, Bill Fitch told Mookie how to beat the Heat. Get the ball to D.C. Coleman did the rest.
Go to the trap now. Here's Coleman beating it easily. 38 points. And the Nets wind up the evening with their 5th consecutive victory, their longest winning streak in 6 years.
But the Nets' joyride ended in Philly, where Barkley and the Sixers were hitting on all cylinders. They cruised past Jersey for their 6th straight victory.
Now that's Charles Barkley. See, I think Charles can do that repeatedly.
And Charles was doing it all this week. He was the fast break trigger man in a win over the Bullets. And he broke loose against the Knicks for 37 points and 14 rebounds. The relentless Barkley became Philly's all-time leading rebounder and put on a spectacular show. Friday night, the Sixers did it with defense, taming the T-Wolves with 11 block shots on their way to a 33-point laugher. This time, it was Ron Anderson with a hot hand.
Anderson spots up. Yes.
That's a layup for him.
While the Sixers are just finding their stride, the Bulls continue to roll through the league on a record-setting pace. After trailing Phoenix by 14 in the second quarter, veteran center Bill Cartwright stepped up with a season-high 17 points. And down the stretch, Michael Jordan took matters into his own hands.
This place is going crazy, Red.
The following night in Charlotte, Hornet fans were ecstatic about Michael's homecoming until crunch time.
Michael's got it. It's a foot race. Goes ahead of him. Lays it up. Yeah! 85!
Oh, what a turnaround play we've had here.
Jordan came up hobbling with a sprained ankle against the Pistons, so he served the ball up to Scottie Pippen for a game-high 29.
What a game for the Pip Man.
And finally, Houston ran into Chicago's bullish defense as Horace Grant led the charge.
Pippen to Grant. Horace. The Bulls are rolling. The Chicago Bulls win their 13th game in a row.
While the Bulls remain hot, the Timberwolves are struggling through an 8-game losing streak. Orlando took advantage of the T-Wolves' recent woes, setting a team record with 13 block shots in front of the faithful home fans.
Another block. Oh, and listen to the crowd.
And a new high, a new record for blocks per game.
The Minnesota Ball Club is struggling, no doubt about it.
Jimmy Rogers may still be secure in Minnesota, but in this week's news, notes, and quotes, we open with a few coaching changes. Last week, Larry Brown was dismissed from the helm of the San Antonio Spurs and replaced for the remainder of the season by Team Vice President Bob Bass.
You know, I was in my office at 10 o'clock, and I still thought Larry was going to coach the team. At 10:45, I was talking to the team in the locker room, so that's, you know, that's pretty tough.
And in Seattle, the Sonics named George Karl their new head coach, and he hopes to help this talented group reach their full potential.
I think my job is to figure out how to make this team work the best. If that means not running, then that's a decision I have to make.
Elsewhere, Houston's Iron Man Otis Thorpe reached a milestone last week as he played in his 500th consecutive game. And during that streak, he's averaged an amazing 37 minutes per contest. And finally, the fan vote for the starters in the All-Star game was completed. There'll be plenty of familiar faces, including a retired superstar who was voted onto the Western starting squad for the 12th time in his celebrated career. It's time for an Olympic profile on a player who many consider to be the 8th wonder of the world. Now on NBA action, this spellbinding superstar holds court. Michael Jordan is perhaps the most spectacular player ever to play the game of basketball. He has amazed. He has astonished. And for a moment, he can make us believe that man was meant to fly.
Get up! Get up! Jordan on the drive. All the way to the rack. Oh, powerhouse!
With an unbelievable array of offensive weapons, Jordan is virtually unstoppable.
Oh, what a move by Jordan! It counts!
And his performances are a sight to behold.
He's a pro's pro. I mean, we even like to see him play when we're not playing against him. You watch him, and he do something, and you be like,
Jordan, quick right, go left to the base, he's inside. Reverse layup, what a move!
I wish he could do that again.
Pass to Michael, reverse! Oh, yeah!
If he came on once a week like the Cosby Show, I'd sit there and watch.
Michael Jordan. Though he's often spectacular,
63 for Jordan. A new NBA record has been set in the Boston Garden.
he's more than just a sensational scoring machine.
He plays to win. He just doesn't play to do all the fancy things. His scoring is the most notable thing about him, but he does so many other things to make his team better.
He dominates the game on the offensive end of the court, but he also dominates the game on the defensive end of the court. And that takes more away from the other team's confidence than anything that he can do offensively.
Here's Jordan, a steal from Dumars, takes it in for the dunk.
You become consumed by Michael Jordan. You become consumed that he's out there.
Relentlessly stalking each opponent. His ability sometimes appears superhuman.
You know, he goes inside the phone booth and puts on his Superman suit. You know, he's everywhere.
With selfless determination on both ends of the court, Jordan will do whatever's necessary to win.
That's a Magic Johnson pass.
People always talk about Magic Johnson's passing ability, and they always talk about Larry Bird's passing ability. But it's rarely people really recognize Michael Jordan for the exceptional passer that he is.
Michael Jordan has earned recognition for many of his talents. But until recently, his ability to assist his fellow Bulls has been an overlooked asset. Once considered a solo performer, Jordan has proven that he's one of the game's ultimate team players.
Jordan's so unselfish, he finds the open man.
Sometimes you get caught up in watching Michael floating through the air, and you forget he passes just as much as he shoots. When people see the shots, they don't see the assists. He's just an all-around player.
He doesn't care. He just wants to win. He just wants to win. He'll do anything he can to win a basketball game.
He can't be judged by the points he scores. You know, he can score at will, pretty much. And now he's trying to get his team involved, trying to do what it takes to win. You know, he's been scoring champ, he's been defensive player of the year, he's been dunk champ, he's been everything. He wants to win.
Michael Jordan has unselfishly adapted his abilities to lead his teammates to a championship. He has embraced the philosophy that winning transcends individual accomplishments. And through this evolution, he's learned a valuable lesson.
I've been able to change my game, and Michael Jordan has emerged as a player able to know what to give as a player, as a person, to get to another level.
To once again ascend to the plateau of an Olympic champion, Jordan's responsibilities will be self-defined.
I always consider my role on this team as a leader is a utility man. You know, step in and plug in the holes wherever we're lacking something.
We're going to go out and represent the United States, and I feel very confident that we can do a very good job at it.
And now we'll see Jordan's unreal talents put to the test in this week's Classic Confrontations as he crosses paths with Dominique Wilkins.
When those two guys get together, you know, it's going to be flair for the spectacular. I mean, anything you can imagine. Now, those guys are going to put on a show.
Wilkins against Jordan. This is what they came to see.
That's great to see them play. Everybody be hyped up for that, and they should, you know, put it in Blockbuster and sell it. Probably be a #1 seller.
There's one for the cameras.
That's an entertainment or showmanship, if you want to say it, of two people who has tremendous creativity, and you never know exactly what's going to happen next.
Throughout the years, these aerial improvisationalists have defied the laws of gravity, staging mid-air battles against each other while challenging the creative bounds of their sport.
They go back to like the shootout. You know, it's like, okay, Mike come down and he said, boom! Oh, powerhouse! Neat come down, he, boom! And they just go at it, you know, and it's good competition. They both trying to win, and after the game, they probably go out and to the party.
Michael and Dominique are just two of the many explosive scorers the league has seen in recent years. But can you name the last player to score 50 or more points in consecutive games? The answer when we return, right here on NBA Action. Bernard King. In 1984 as a New York Knick, King went on a Texas tear, scoring 50 points against the Spurs and then matching that feat the next night against Dallas. In this week's marquee matchup, the high-flying Atlanta Hawks take on the red-hot Portland Trail Blazers, who were hungry for another win at the Coliseum.
Go Blazers!
With the Portland faithful expecting a Hawk feast, Jerome Kersey and the Blazers did not disappoint as they got cooking right from the opening tip.
Jerome is 5 for 5. Duckworth. Cross court to Danny Ainge. 4-3. Oh, Danny Ainge. Wilkins intercepted by Danny Ainge. Blazers by a dozen. Drexler score! Portland is blowing the doors off this early.
But the resilient Hawks would battle back behind the long-range touch of Dominique Wilkins. And the inside power of Kevin Willis.
Wilkins and Willis putting on a wonderful show for Atlanta. Wilkins for 3. Oh, what a night by Dominique.
As the game came down to the final moments, Atlanta seemed destined to take control.
The Atlanta Hawks are now within 1, and Rick is not happy with what he's seen.
With Portland's once 14-point lead now down to a single point, the Blazers brace for the game's most crucial play.
All 5 guys on the board. This is what it's all about. One possession now.
Fueled by the enthusiasm of their hometown fans, the Blazers elevated their intensity and never looked back.
Ball for the rebound. Kevin Willis can't score. Clark Robinson pulls it away. Deep to Drexler. Wilkins chasing. Fly! And that should lock it up.
Locking up a place in this week's On Fire Brigade is Sharunas Marshallonis, who unleashed his freewheeling style to smoke the opposition. His first victim, the Hornets.
Here's Ellie to Marshallonis.
There was no stopping Sharunas as he soared over the Hawks and then ran through the Knicks.
Picked up by Marshallonis. Marshallonis puts it up and in. What a move.
38-year-old Robert Parrish showed that his flame is still burning as he scored over 20-plus points in 4 straight games.
Parrish for 2. Goes to Pinckney, the left hand. Parrish there, hit the putback.
And Robert to work on Greg Kite. 2 off the glass. Bounces off West. Big rainbow. Whoa!
Larry Johnson continues to provide the firepower in Charlotte. He began his assault by stinging the Warriors in Golden State.
Larry Johnson, final shot of the quarter. Yes, 3-pointer for Larry Johnson, and he called.
Then he fooled his way past Chicago for 31 and capped off the week against Indiana with authority. But LJ was not alone in throwing it down this week as Schick presents In Your Face.
Oh!
That was awesome.
Now on Inside Look, we relive some of the amazing stories of dunk.
My brother Dominique, playing against Milwaukee, they throw the ball to Dominique on the wing, and the whole team collapses on him.
Down low for Dominique. Baseline drive. Dominique. Oh, my goodness! Did you see that jam? I don't know how he did that. Dominique!
Bob Lanier had covered the rim, and I turned sideways. And I turned back around in the air and dunked it on him. That still sticks out in my mind.
I just know, anytime Chicago comes in town, you have to leave your family and everybody else home. You don't want to be embarrassed.
Now the Bulls beat the pressure. Jordan from Vincent. out.
And alley-oop went up in the air on the fast break, and all of a sudden, Jordan went up about 10 or 12 more notches than I did. You know, not ashamed to say, you stand there in awe.
I still have vivid memories of a Dr. J tomahawk dunk.
Eaton had stayed back, but here comes Irving anyway.
He went up over the top of me and came crashing down and about took the rim off the backboard and just kind of left me standing there with Spalding across my head.
People don't realize is I played 15 minutes that night and I fouled out. And I was a little bit upset because I thought I was getting some bad calls. And I just needed some way to show my anger out.
Kemp picks Mark Jackson, gets the give and go.
Oh! It was no way that we thought he could dunk the basketball, but he proved us all wrong.
Oh, please, let's see that again 100 times.
I think it was one when Chambers went over Mark Jackson. I mean, that was an awesome dunk.
2-on-1. KJ to Chambers. Jam!
Oh, boy. He went right up Mark Jackson.
When he hit Mark, he was already high. But when he hit Mark, he went a little higher, and he just tore the rim down.
Dominique, it's a tip jam. He comes over about 2 of his teammates back and just jump right over one hand, just rolls it down through the hoop. I mean, it's just awesome. You see that, you be like, God.
I'll tell you a story that I think summed the whole thing up. We was playing Chicago in Salt Lake. They switched and put John Stockton on him, and he turned around and dunked on Stockton. So some guy got up and almost followed him down the sideline and said, hey, Jordan, pick on somebody your own size. So next time down the floor, he dunked on Mel Turpin and went over and looked at the guy and said, was he big enough?
Now it's time for the stuffs that legends are made of, as we meet the outlandish Darryl Dawkins, who first gained notoriety for his outrageous dunks and has even more outrageous names for them. Just listen.
Well, I'd get up one night and I'd dunk a good one. The backboard's still shaking. I'm like halfway back down the floor, and I look back down and still swinging. And people are like, they said, what was that? I said, get out of the way, and backboard swing, game delayed. If you ain't grooving, you best get moving. They said, what? I said, hey, I'm getting a good response from this. I think I'll name them all. I had a turbo saxophonic delight dunk where I went up and swiveled the hips a little bit and kind of brought it across.
Dawkins posting on Donaldson. Look out! Oh.
And I had the dunk called Your Mama. And that was for anybody who jumped in front of me while I was trying to dunk it. I'll just throw it right in on him and say, Your Mama.
Here's Dawkins.
Unbelievable. What a pass. What a pass.
What a pass by Larry Bird.
What a pass.
T-minus 10 and counting as we launch into the plays of the week.
5, 4, 3, 2.
In our courtside countdown in Chicago, 6'1" Kevin Johnson against 6'11" Stacey King. KJ comes out on top.
It was good. He was going to go up and stuff it. He went by Craig Hodges like he was standing still.
At number 9, it's Dennis Hobson throwing it down with authority and taking Marcus Liberty down with him.
And you talk about a quick dunk.
Yet another fearless guard, Hersey Hawkins, takes on Patrick Ewing and wins the battle.
It goes in. And the whistle as well. How about that play? Some play, Hersey Hawkins.
The shot by Bimbo Coles looked short until the long arm of Grant Long took it home.
Grant Long never saw the basket. His back was to the goal, but he tipped it in anyway.
Number 6, Eddie Johnson upstages the Lakers with his own version of Showtime.
Oh, what a great backhand spin shot in. He's fouled. Wasn't that a nice shot?
Mark Jackson's beautiful dish sets a table for Ewing, and Patrick cleans up. Portland made a long-distance connection, and it was Ala Abdelnaby who finally got the call. Number 3, speaking of long distance, KJ dropped a bomb on the Bulls.
Long shot. Oh, yes! A three. Oh!
Number 2, the shot of the week that didn't even count. Chris Mullin dropped one out of the sky.
Threw it off the top of the ceiling here, and the ball went in. The Warriors can do no wrong.
At number 1, the Knicks' John Starks. How in the world did he do this?
Bravo, what a shot by John Stark!